Greetings, classic lovers, and welcome back to another video in which we will continue our WoW Alpha hardcore journey as a priest. Last time we left off in Undercity, and we are now just checking the different vendors as well as the tailoring supplies and recipes that are in the game. So if you're interested in how the stats have changed, for example, for Spider Silk boots, that will be on the screen shortly. I would just like to reiterate that on Friday at 5 p.m. Central European Summer Time, I'm going to be streaming some of the leveling on Kick. The link will be probably in a pinned comment as well as in the community section of this channel. Quick interjection as we look at the wands. Once again, interesting requirement here, you need the respective skill for the school of magic that the wand is using. So I guess as a remnant in 1.12 we have the different damage types of the wands, you know, being fire damage, shadow damage, etc. But usually it doesn't make too big of a difference unless you are fighting, let's say, a fire elemental that's immune to fire with a fire wand. Back to the streaming topic. The reason why I am streaming on Kick is that even though I already have a Twitch channel that is affiliated with Twitch, and I would probably benefit from using that more, is of course that Twitch doesn't allow private server streaming. And if any of you saw my video regarding the death of live service games, then you will realize that I am not on super great terms with Blizzard at the moment, and I would like to have this be a sustainable thing that can grow in the future. So that's why we're doing Kick. Eventually, we might move over to YouTube or maybe even multi-stream it. We will see as I delve deeper into that, but for the moment it's gonna be Kick since they have a little bit more of a lax policy when it comes to private servers. Speaking of growing the channel, obviously I would greatly appreciate if you leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. This series will be going to level 25 if we don't die along the way. If we do die along the way, there are plenty of race and class combinations yet to explore, and obviously we have the WoW the WoW Hardcore release, the actual official release, which I will be playing regardless of my stance on Blizzard and Activision in general when it does come out. I have an interesting idea for what I want to be doing on there. It's gonna involve, non-standard leveling. I will restrict the class that I am using to certain perks and features, and I will be omitting others just to make it a little bit more interesting, and we will see if we make it to 60 that way. Also, there is a poll up under the community section for which class you would see next in Alpha Hardcore, and yeah, that's that, I think. So now that we have that out of the way, we can probably get a little bit more into our actual gameplay on screen here. We are heading to Gunther Arcanus, the mage on the island, to return the tome we stole from him 2 episodes ago. In the process of that, we're killing a couple of undead here. As you can see, the XP bar is not really moving a whole lot here. That is due to the fact that we are barred from gaining rested experience in this version. This is a change that was introduced quite a bit later in a beta patch, I believe. So there is no rested experience, there's just normal mob experience. Interestingly enough, in the patch that introduced rested experience, they also had an exhausted experience, if you want to call it that, where if you grinded too much or you played too much, you would actually gain only 50% mob experience. Now, we're taking the candles to summon the ghost on the lake at her altar, which is going to be happening after we take out those 2 zombies. And yeah, even though we are level 11 right now, we are not dealing too much damage, so I really hope that we can get a wand fairly soon. It's going to be at level 17 though. The other day I did mention that there is no enchanting in the game, which is actually not true. In the next episode, when we visit Orgrimmar, we will find a working enchanting trainer, though the way enchanting works will probably surprise you, so stay tuned for that. It's a little bit different to what we got in the actual version. So we're summoning the ghost and we're fighting her, and as you can see here, we are not dealing a whole lot of damage to her and she is pretty much blasting us, so I use a safety healing potion because we have more than 30 and we get the hell out of there. So there's not much to be done here and we decide to leg it, check our quest log and figure out what to do next. What we're gonna be doing next is the spider quest for a new plague. So we end up killing a bunch of those spiders, but it's not actually too bad as they do drop pretty quickly. Still, I decided to, speed up the footage and give you a little bit of a glimpse of how long it actually took us. This is probably as good a time as any to mention that I have been struggling with a little bit of a cold, and therefore if the audio is not as crisp as I would like it to be, then I greatly apologize. As you can see briefly here, we already have stacked up a bunch of talent points, but we're still not using them because, I still hope to get a wand, and I still hope that the wand talents are going to be absolutely broken. But in order to figure that out, we need to acquire a wand. Now, we're checking the rest of the quests. What we're going to be doing next is probably at war with the Scarlet Crusade. It's the final watchtower. And since the spiders drop excellently, we are heading there, but on our way there, we're stopping at a tent camp by the Scarlet Crusade because I spied something in the distance there. There is a Dark Cleric's chest, an item or an object rather, which I am not familiar with. After looking it up, after, spotting it here, it's interestingly even in the game, in the 1.12 version, but it is a chest that doesn't have a key and it doesn't have any quest associated with it. So it's interesting to see that this item was already in the alpha and has been kind of, left behind, forgotten, if you will. So as we make our way there and start killing off the mobs required to get to the chest, we will make a startling discovery, so to speak, in just a moment, as we have some more riveting Smite gameplay going here. I suppose since I do have the polls up and running, I might as well tell you which class I would have preferred to play next in hardcore, and it's certainly not Warlock. I think I would have preferred to look at Warrior or Rogue. So, I do reserve the right to maybe play a melee class next, regardless of how the poll turns out, but I hear you and I respect your wishes, so perhaps it will be a Warlock. I personally have never been too much of a caster player. I'm familiar with most classes, but I prefer melee classes or a hunter, I suppose. The class I've played the least is probably a shaman, so it would have also been interesting to take a look at that, I suppose. By the way, we just used sleep on those two mobs. It's really quite fabulous, honestly. It's a very enjoyable thing to have as a priest. Some sort of CC that's not limited to shackling undead. Although Shackle Undead obviously is a very cool spell also. As you can see here, I am interacting with the chest and it immediately despawns. Sadly, we couldn't quite determine whether or not it had any contents because I pulled a mob and I was scared to pull more here. I didn't want to chain pull, so I backed off. And as I backed off, it despawned, but I'm fairly confident upon rewatching the footage that there is nothing in this chest. You can see me checking here for it, but yeah, it's disappeared. I'm a little bit confused about that. And so I head to the last watchtower, but I stop by Fail's Rest briefly and I pick some flowers around there, as well as you will see me checking out the ambience kind of. Yeah, inventory is full, usual issues. So I'm not sure if this is actually like in the 1.12 version. It seems pretty fleshed out. I don't remember this whole altar being there, but why would they have changed that? I don't know. Although, on the other hand, they did change some smaller details. Not sure why exactly. Maybe they just started deleting random assets to make the game easier to fit in a box set of CDs. I have no idea how much that would help though, but seeing a lot of the zones that are in the game currently, they do seem to have a bit more assets than normally. So anyways, we approach the tower and we have to deal with a couple of Scarlet Friars before we can take on the captain and his bodyguard. I must say at this point I was sweating quite a little bit if we're gonna be able to take down the guy, because it would mean fighting 3 mobs at once. But before we do that, we, clear out the last of the mobs that are on the ramp, and then we're gonna probably regen up before we take on the boss fight, if you will. I do realize that I promised you guys that we're going to be going to Orgrimmar next episode, but I kind of underestimated how much there is still to do in Tirisfal. You can actually see me skill some extra mana points, I think, and maybe even regeneration. No, I'm still greeding out on those wand specialization points. But yeah, I did spend some talent points before this fight, just to be safe. I think it was actually HP that I spec'd. So he resists my sleep, but I just recast it on him. And since the smaller guys are just level 8 or 9, we burst through those first, as the big guy is still slept. We are doing fairly well. I was honestly expecting more out of these bodyguards, but it seems to be they have trouble hitting us. The guy wakes up and we just sleep him again. I'm pretty sure there are no diminishing returns and we can sleep people indefinitely. So the first guy is already running. We use a minor restoration potion, which gives us some HP and some mana back. We burst the last bodyguard. Nope, we do not, because it's going to be going down to the dot anyways shortly. There you can hear him die off screen. And now it's just the big guy. We're pretty but considering that, we have a lot of tools at our disposal, as well as a healing potion already coming off cooldown, this won't be any problem whatsoever. So we actually managed to take down the captain and the 2 bodyguards without running away or without cheesing it in any way, shape or form, so that's pretty cool. And this would finish up a huge quest chain of Tirisfal at War with the Scarlet Crusade, which actually starts all the way back in Death Knell at level 4 or 5. So we see a standard issue shield being dropped. That's the shield with the Scarlet Crest on it, which is, very sought after, very rarely seen indeed. But we actually get it. However, it doesn't have an icon, so I do believe that it's also not equipable. All the items in the game that have a question mark seem to not be equipable at this point. We get back to Gunther Arcanus because we need another Candle of Beckoning in order to try and summon the ghost again. At this point, after killing the 3 mobs at the tower, I feel confident that the spirit won't be a problem, and I think that first time around we were just getting unlucky resists, so that shouldn't be a problem whatsoever. After getting the candle and summoning the mob once again, we have to wait for him briefly to appear. There it is, he's level 12, and we're just starting to go to town on him. He's going to town on us, and we're gonna see who wins out. This time around, it's gonna probably be us. However, he just despawns without... yeah, he's just gone for some reason. We didn't move, we didn't do anything, he just despawned. And rather than going back for another candle and trying again, I just say, whatever, I'm done with this, I've had enough of Tirisfal. I turn in the couple of quests that are yet to turn in. Hit level 12, turn in the quest for the new plague, which in turn gives us the quest to poison the dwarf in the inn. And after that, we're going to be heading for the priest trainer, and that's going to be it for this episode. So next time, I promise, we are actually going to Orgrimmar and we're going to see the barons. So as we poison that guy, he doesn't turn into a ghoul or anything. He seems to be taking his drink quite well. So I guess, yeah, hydration is key. We're just being nice to the guy. We didn't actually kill him. And you can see me here learning Power Word Shield and Power Word Fortitude. We're not learning Mind Vision because I don't see much reason to. I will maybe learn it at a later point to see if it actually works. And with that, once again, I will be streaming on Friday. Check the link down below in the comments, and I hope you had a blast watching me. I had a blast recording it, and I will be back with another episode with Orgrimmar and the Barons tomorrow. So thank you guys very much, and take care.